Hello, this is Tom, aka Gedeon here for Tabletop Taproom, trying out a new intro. I don't know how you like that. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you thought it was terrible. We're still working on that, still trying to master After Effects by Adobe. But that's the new intro that we just worked up. And so, in light of that, because I was so, kid with a new toy with it, wanted to do a sci fi Free Friday. So here we are. We are looking at Joseph Mohr's Distress for Cepheus Engine and Traveler. And I routinely loot his stuff for ideas for games because he's just got good ideas. And he produces pretty good stuff. These modules are very much a toolbox to equip you to run the adventure. He has not plotted it. It is not... the end result of the adventure is not written out. He sets things up, very old school. He sets things up, and we're going to wait and see how the players decide to solve this problem. So, very much a toolbox module. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and bell icon, and help me build the channel. And to help pay the bills, we have a quick word from our sponsor, which is Gloomer Games. So our sponsor today is Gloomer Games, and Gloomer Games has had a successful Kickstarter for their Mystic Days adventure, but they've decided let's one up it. They have licensed artwork from Clyde Caldwell. They're doing a Clyde Caldwell edition of the game. And I'm very excited about this because, they were telling me about things that they put in there, like the Jeff Easley clause. And Clyde was like, I've never seen that clause in any contract in 40 years. And, so they're really going out of their way to treat the artist right. They have guaranteed in the contract that they would not be erasing his name or cropping his name out in any way. It's called the Jeff Easley clause. But not just that they are trying to treat the artist right and do right by the artist, they are doing right by the fans. And they have packed some big surprises into the Mystic Days Clyde Caldwell edition Kickstarter that's coming up. We will have them back on the show here in the future because there are new surprises that they're coming out with for the Kickstarter. And those are pretty exciting. I've gotten a little rumor about where that's going. But let's hear from Professor Dungeon Master on what he thinks about Mystic Days.
This video is brought to you by Gloomer Games Mystic Days, the Caldwell Edition. The Kickstarter includes 4 hardbound books, Monsters and Mayhem, Magic and Treasure, Player's Book, and Adventure Guide. OSR style, 6 classic stats, no character classes, you build the character you want, no initiative to slow things down, no OP characters, and death is always on the table. You roll to cast, failure could lead to an explosive catastrophe, and every weapon is unique. Polearms get the place they deserve with every weapon having a reach modifier, and monsters are bestial and not humanized. With fantastic cover art by Clyde Caldwell, this is old school gaming the way you remember. Links below.
So that is Mystic Days, the Clyde Caldwell edition. And, I'm not BSing. I supported the Kickstarter because I was excited about what they were doing with this RPG. Now, let's get back to Distress by Joseph Mohr. Joseph Mohr puts these out. I think he puts out like one a month. I am not 100% sure on his production schedule, but it seems to me like there's at least one coming out every month. That's 100. That's like 12 a year. I was going to say 120 a year. Some bad math there. That's why I have a friend who's a NASA astronomer. I go to him, you help me out with this math? So, Distress. Now, I don't want to do a spoiler alert. I don't want to spoil the plot. But it's predicated on the players are doing something with their ship and they get a distress call. Now, they're obligated to go and see if they can help. It's an obligation. But, they would never, they actually talk about how the law, and nobody would ever know. Like, if you delete the distress signal from your database and totally ignored it because, hey, we're trying to make money here. We got to pay the mortgage. That nobody ever gets prosecuted for ignoring it because space is too big, and how does anybody really know that you heard or didn't hear that distress signal? So that's the setup. So it's in the classic traveler setup. You don't have a patron, but there is a good chance that you could get some good money out of this for salvage, 1% of the cargo if you help save the lives of these people and salvage this thing. So there is a good chance of a money recuperation. Now, and there's also there's some shenanigans. Of course, there's going to be complications, and Joseph always gives you a nice list of complications. You could actually just take a D12 and roll on it. I absolutely love that about him. So that as players are asking questions and doing things that I don't expect with the game, I'm like, I can say, yeah. But then I go back to that complications list because I'm thinking, oh, that thing the player's doing kind of goes with this complication over here. So guess what's about to happen? So I love Joseph Mohr's work in that just for the list of complications is usually so worth it. Now, there is alien technology, and, I know that's a trope, but I liked what he did with it because this is alien technology that does something you just don't really want to unleash in the setting because it'll have, like that. You don't want to unleash it in the sense that suddenly it becomes the new norm in the setting because it'll have unintended consequences that maybe are not well thought out. So there's an alien tech angle going on, and so this is a great little module. And again, I don't want to spoil it too much, but it has a great intersection with what we are doing in the fan magazine. And so let me just explain what's going on with the fan magazine, the Star Frontiers fan magazine. It's not a traveler magazine. Not that there's anything wrong with you travelers out there, but in the upcoming issue coming out at Halloween for issue 29 of the Star Frontiersman Volume 2 is we have a major theme, and the major themes are all based around a core of material, and we then work to expand upon that, make it a nice big theme. Like when we did enemy mines, we did a whole look at mine laying and seeker missiles in the frontier, and we had an adventure, we had new technology and new stuff, and so we expanded that into a whole theme, just looking at mine laying and mines and minesweepers and deck plan for a mine laying ship in issue 26. So the new theme is New Streel, and that's because one of the fans over on .us had written up this really great material on New Streel, and so I've just repackaged it as if he submitted it. Friends with him, and so I don't believe he minds, but we've repackaged it, but then we've expanded upon his New Streel material. And his New Streel material had primitive humans, but Oscar Rios, as we got together as an editorial staff, Oscar Rios said, "I want to take that." This is, I don't want to just do Neanderthals with stone tools, and so this is a colony expedition from Terra, from Earth, from the human homeworld that reached New Streel, but then lost their technology, and they kind of slipped back into barbarism a little bit, and they lost their advanced technology. That's why they're primitive. Their culture is no less sophisticated than the culture across the frontier. I loved what Oscar did with these primitive humans. So very cool. And then there was ancient alien technology on the planet, and apparently these aliens had evolved into like an energy creature, your classic Star Trek trope of an energy creature. So you have the Brights, who aren't bad, and the Malavants. And the Malavants are bad. And so it kind of sets up, the Malavants are imprisoned. It kind of sets up a Ghost of Mars type of plot line. And Aaron O'Brien said, "Hey, I want to work on that." And so he's been working on the Brights and the Malavants, and a little bit of an adventure involving that. And so I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. Well, I grabbed a hold of I had some ideas about running a scouting mission. This has been on my mind. I wanted to run a scouting campaign where you take the scout ship and you go scouting. And so I said, you know what, this is fantastic because there's stuff happening in this system. This would make a great scouting campaign. We discover the system. We, make first contact with these primitive humans. There's some like first contact with some other alien creatures in the system. There's some other contact going on with these critters, and just this would make a great campaign. Well, I got thinking about distress. So I've got, on the one hand, I got what I'm working on with the magazine, and I got this distress, and I see a nice intersection here. Because we've got this ancient alien technology in New Streel, and you got to find a place to put this mysterious ancient alien technology that's in distress by Joseph Mohr. And, it's why not put it in New Streel? That, yes, there was some agency going on with this ancient alien technology. The player characters show up with their scout ship and they get a distress signal from in system, and they go to investigate it. And then you can go right into, and so we can actually just kind of hand wave instead of just dropping, oh, yet again, we've got more ancient. It's part of the ancient civilization that was on the planet there in the New Streel system. And this, so it's not like, oh, yet again, more ancient alien. It's part of the overarching thing. And so it becomes part of the whole storyline. Allows you to have a whole campaign. And the things that are going on in distress actually complicate the lives of the scout explorers. They've been hired by Streel to do this scouting mission. They've been provided this ship. In fact, I worked up a non-disclosure agreement by Streel that the players actually have to sign. They have to sign the name of their player character to the document. We're going to include that in the adventure. It's a lot of fun because you kind of look at the document like, yeah, I realize I got to sign this, but I'm not sure if I really want to. Kind of one of those things, the corporation being all, it's about us, it's not about you, and we're looking to screw over everybody, and if we screw you over, we'll do you too. So the non-disclosure agreement from Streel is included in the adventure. It'll be in the magazine. And part of the problem is that the players might want to try to recover some of the things of value that are actually in the distress module by Joseph Mohr. So they're on the scouting mission. They must complete the scouting mission, but then they're going to want to hire a freighter and come back and try to. But this might have complications with their non-disclosure agreement that they signed, and so this could get, they don't necessarily. There's nothing in their mission that says they have to tell Streel about what they find concerning the distress adventure there. But if they come back looking to recover some of the things that they could find in the distress adventure, because that's wholly in space, and they wouldn't be revealing any of the things that they're not supposed to disclose when they find the planet or disclose the jump route. But still, Streel is probably going to take a very dim view of them coming back to do this salvage. And so I think that becomes a very interesting storyline. I don't know how it'll play out. Okay, but certainly Streel's going to be, you violated the, and then that creates more complications in the lives of the player characters. And I love that sort of thing. Did I mention I like complications? I love complications. And I love the list of complications Joseph Mohr presented. And I just thinking about how his adventure would intersect with what I'm writing for the new Streel theme that's going to be in issue 29 of the Star Frontiersman coming out at Halloween. I'm really excited. I'm thinking this has just got some legs for adventure, a whole campaign right there in New Streel. In fact, I'm not developing so much of the uh, ancient technology on the planet, the Ghost of Mars thing I mentioned. I'm going to wait and see what Aaron produces and just put some little notes together and say, this is how I would incorporate Aaron's adventure into this scout campaign. Okay, because it might play differently. He might write it as there's plenty of people living there. Streel has colonized the planet. There's plenty going on. And so that adventure might be written that way. I don't know how he's writing it, but I am looking forward to having this as one big mega campaign, all set in New Streel, with the discovery of the system, the discovery of the jump routes, all done by the player characters. So very exciting. Now, just so you know, you can go to drive-through. The link will be in the show notes for Distress. It is a pay what you want. Recommended price is $3. I think it's worth the $3. So pop on over to drive-through. Check it out. Throw the dog a bone with the pay what you want. I think it is worth the $3 and very well worth it. And so this is Tom for Tabletop Tap Room and Star Frontiers Gamer on a free Friday. Bringing you Distress by Joseph Mohr, and old school role playing is the name of his company. So check them out on drive-through, and thanks for watching the video. Thanks to my subscribers. You guys are great, and keep on gaming. Try out some of Joseph Mohr's material. Distress would be a good one to start with.